This is day 3 of my 100 days en plein air painting in oil, and it's pouring rain. So I will be painting from the vantage point of my garage, and I have no idea what I'm going to paint. Maybe my car. But this gives me a great opportunity to be really abstract, play with color, and deviate completely from reality. So we'll see what happens. And I do want to share with you a little kit. I'm testing out all the little kits that I've made over the past few years to be a portable painter. And this one I made from a cigar box. And I will show that to you now and share with you the way I think it will work. I did use it in the past a couple of times painting in dark tubs in oil. That was before I started with my dip pen and ink and watercolor. I haven't used it in maybe 15 years. So we'll see how it goes. This is my little cigar box. I have extra little foam core so that when I close this, my palette doesn't fall up against the painting. I have a sheet of cardboard the size of a lid, and I've Velcroed it so that it can stay up there. And then I took a piece of canvas paper, which I don't really like using, but I had some. I have a whole pad of it, and I thought I would try it out. When I'm done with that, then I'll just take a piece of canvas and I'll wrap it around the same way. So this stays in here. And this again is the support so that when I close the lid, the end of painting, this holds my tools down so that they won't slip up against the wet painting. This is a mixing palette, piece of acrylic. I cut it right there so that I can put my finger in and get it up. This was my original palette for in here that I used, and I kept having to cut new ones. So I just made one out of acrylic. However, I needed that extra thickness in order to make this work. So I have it as an extra work surface or an extra mixing palette. This I've cut to keep my brushes. Now I'm using some watercolor brushes because they're shorter, and I cut off an oil paint brush. So these are the brushes. I have a pair of pliers which I need in order to get some of the caps off. I forgot to put my matches in here because I need to heat up the cap first. And I do have a smaller pair of pliers that I'll put in here as soon as I find them again. And I have several small tubes of paint. I also have strips. I cut strips of foam core here to support. There we go. All of this fits back inside. That slips back. I've used the small brush to create some shapes, and I based them on windows. They aren't really where they're supposed to be. A little bit of a shape here for the roof, the drain pipe, of course, because I love drain pipes. This is our dumpster. This is my car, the ground, and now I'm just using that as the skeleton for what I'm going to be doing next. And I'm going to play with color and shapes. I'll be looking at the scene through my garage door, but I won't be trying to replicate it. In fact, I'm going to do my best to make this so that it's not obviously a car. I blocked in some color. I've already painted out the wheel, and I now have some motion going. You can see that the car is starting to disappear, but it's good. It was the foundation from which I'm starting to play now. And I want to share this with you as it's changing. I've gotten rid of my car, but I've included the 4 tires, even though I don't see 4 tires. I have the house. This doesn't make sense to me. That's just the pine needles and pollen on the driveway. My goal now is to pull this together with values and color. I definitely should have taken a photograph before I wiped it off the first time. So I've wiped it off 3 times. The sun came out, sun went away. I started getting really fatigued with the mess that I was making. And then I just scumbled it, wiped it off a few more times. And now I actually like this one. And this is what I set out to do. I wanted to change the way I thought about my painting. And I certainly have done that today. The weather here in New Jersey has been absolutely ridiculous. I'm kind of bundled up with a scarf, but it's been very windy right now. It's not too windy, but it gets gusty and then chilly. So I'm just prepared for whatever may come, because once I get going on this painting, I don't want to stop. This is a painting that I started several years ago in my studio, and I'm hoping to just finish it off today as a plein air painting. See what happens. It's getting pretty cold out here now, and I'm starting to do some pretty crazy things, most of which I like, but not all of them, and I'm starting to get really muddy colors. So I am at this point going to stop, clean up, and this may carry over into tomorrow, or I may work on this in the studio. I don't usually do that, but I'm up for changes. Here are my beautiful iris.